Okay, holy shit. Now, the internet has erupted today as news that Trump and Elon have officially massively fallen out. Now, they kind of had a little bit of a thing going on for the last weeks. There's, you know, Elon leaving Doge and the government and blah 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 and the key presentation, they all fell off. And my leftist political commentators like Jon Stewart and Colbert were all over that one. But today is just gone nuclear, and it's interesting to see Elon taking on such a kind of, I would say, dare call it crash out mentality, as he has just been dropping bombs left, right, and center. So let's have a look at this. So he's saying, like, he's still going on about this, Trump with Epstein and shit like that. He's just going all off the hook at fucking Trump. And you got to really ask yourself why this happened. You know, Potentially Elon was ousted. You're fired, and you really got to see that this has been this insane. Here, I'll make sure the volume and the drums isn't so loud, because this is some fucking Civil War shit. I mean, Elon has just gone ridiculously off the fucking rails. And even for me, who's kind of like, Elon's funny, funny guy, fucking doing ketamine and taking shrooms, he's getting a little bit embarrassing. He's embarrassed himself. And this was the main tweet that really set everything off. Time to drop the really big bomb at Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the reason I haven't made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. So obviously, like, anyone like me or you who understands internet lingo and speak, the way the tweet is conveyed, the way that this has been presented, you're really getting hatred on a level that is not really been seen or predicted before with Elon. It's truly insane that he's been like this. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on in the world anymore? I mean, obviously these are two massive figures, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, both multi-billionaires, both super high egos. These two being buddies. People often in these positions like Trump and Elon don't have friends. They dominate each other. And that's kind of what's happened here, is that one's trying to one up the other. Now, the thing that Elon hasn't considered is Trump is the president of the United States of America, one of the most powerful people on earth. So him doing this and kind of going off the rails is a bit, if I was Elon's advisors, I'd be like, maybe not, take the L, bro. If he was fired, it's all over budgets and billions. And I think at the end of the day, Doge just wasn't going to really do much for in the grand scheme of things. I think that Doge was a valiant attempt by Elon and his cohorts to regulate some of this ridiculous spending. But the thing is, the government is never going to be efficient. Governments are not efficient. They don't care about people. That's not the reason governments exist, isn't to help people. I mean, come on, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to build a utopian society here? Or are we just, trying to cut a few billions here and there? So, I mean, yeah, Elon has never asked me for a thing. I mean, I got rid of the EAV mandate, but he's never asked me for a thing. I think that's an amazing attribute. Elon is a patriot. We want to thank you very much for the job you're doing. So, not a word from Trump yet on this. I mean, he said true social things. I mean, but this one, look at this one, dear God, 88 million views. Time to drop the really big bomb. Trump's in the Epstein files. Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. I mean, so what? Trump's on the Epstein file list. What's going to happen? If there was proof, do you think he's going to let that out? Not a chance. Even if there was proof. This is what he said about Jared Isaacman. Yeah, most people are obviously the Twitter sphere is going to be on Elon's side. I mean, that's a given. That's going to be fucking something that is going to happen. The Twitter sphere is obviously going to be on Elon's side. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. So, I mean, most of what we're seeing is on Elon's side. But yeah, I mean, just look at this. Yeah, I mean, so like there is some absolutely ludicrous infighting going on. Now, the news media was going to jump on this. There's no denying that fact. The news media is all over this, and of course, the left is going to be just fucking singing today. Reddit, all these leftist sources, but Trump's still president. Elon's still a billionaire. This you haven't defeated these people. The only thing you've done is you've had this split of these already too shaky megalomaniacs. And let's see what ABC News is saying. Crazy. Elon Musk feud explodes with claimed president is in the Epstein files. More words between Epstein or Elon and Trump erupted into full-on meltdown Thursday, with Musk claiming ingratitude over the 2024 election. So I mean, there are whispers and there are thoughts that Elon's going to come out and say, "Hey, look, we rigged the election somehow," But I don't know. This is some of those things that is going to transform these events more. It's insane, and you really are not. I'm not really that surprised. Someone who both likes Trump and Elon, that these two just couldn't get along, and Elon is clearly the less mature one. Speaking out about this, and he just there's a lot of between Elon. There's a lot of complete and utter disdain for Trump, because I think that Elon thought he was going to be this mega powerful person, and Trump kind of put him in his place, potentially even just firing him outright. Trump has an agenda that a lot of people are not really sure of, and he's doing all kinds of things that who knows what he's going to do? Who knows what his plan is for the world at large? And yeah, I don't know. It's hard to describe how big of an event this is for the greater sphere of the Republican American. This is their utter and complete night of the long knives. So I mean, you gotta wonder really what's going to become of this. I mean, I think that Trump is in a position of power right now where he could just brush Elon off his shoulder and continue on with whatever his plan was in the first place. He's managing wars in Ukraine and trade wars with China and stuff. A billionaire leaving his cabinet is not the end of the world. I mean, clearly the Twitter sphere is going to have some sentiments against him, but that's like what? What percentage of his base is going to go in different places? And look at this one. This is where is this guy today? So I think that there's been a lot of loss in understanding of what Trump is up to. And I think that that is the general cause and effect of this. This person getting community notes on his own thing. So in many essence, this is more of an L for Elon, in my opinion. It really is him kind of, like look at this. All started earlier on today, with him getting a little cheap shots, and then it just went utterly nuclear when Elon posted that thing about his about about Trump and Epstein. Now, I would think the Elon is not in a great place for saying that. This can be go all types of ways. I mean, this guy's the president of the United States of America, and you're trying to say out in the open that he's this horrible, person who's a criminal. This is not going to go over well for you, Elon, if Trump decides to take out the hammers. And now, while this may have not have surprised many people, he is the most powerful person in the world. Elon was just a bird in his ear. He's not going to lose his presidency over this, and I think that Elon has just kind of had a little bit of a meltdown. He is not used to people telling him no, and Trump told him no, and these are the kinds of things that the media is going to pick up on, and smart people like me were realized this a long time ago, that how can two completely omnipotent, powerful people really exist in the same sphere of influence. They're not These people don't get where they get by being buddies with everyone. They're enemies. Everyone's trying to one up with each other. That is where power comes from. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer, so to speak. And it certainly looks like these two are enemies now. So I mean, yeah, the media is all over this. Washington Post is fucking live about it and shit like that. Through this, Elon Musk argued Thursday that President Trump would have been lost the 20th election without Musk's support. Possibly. As the two increasingly sparred Trump's max and immigration package, Musk, who until recently oversaw the cost-cutting U.S. Doge services, like I said, Doge was relatively ineffective, didn't do very well, made a comment on X, and this is like, you go right to the down to the, marketing manager at some tiny little office job, right up to this person who's Elon Musk. The shit that you can get yourself into trouble on social media, sometimes it's better just not to post it. And this is definitely one of those situations where Elon has gone completely a little bit. And when I saw this post, I was like, don't go there, Elon. So he's clearly just completely sparring with Trump. And the leftist media are going to be all over this. Of course, they're going to be all over this. They think that this is the end of the Republican Party, where this is nothing more than, I think, than Trump showing his cards, putting Elon in his place, giving him the boot. He's talking on the phone with Xi Jinping. Potentially, Elon knows something that we don't know. Something along the lines of World War III, where he's saying Trump's gonna get us all fucking killed in nuclear war. Let's get this. Maybe they're attacking Iran. He knows about that. Maybe there's an attack on Russia. Maybe what was happening in Ukraine had U.S. involvement. So there's so many factors of things that we don't know that maybe Elon knows. But I think that Trump gave him the boot. He got a little too overstepped his reach, and he went crazy. I think Trump's right. I think Elon just went fucking crazy today, because when you look at this, you look at a person who's like constantly posting all day about Trump, all day long about him, and he's still going. Um, and he's really showing a side of someone who's, this is someone who got rejected in high school behavior. He's just consistently going nuts over this. And the tariff thing, there was a reporter that came out the other day and said, don't Trump's tariffs affect you and your businesses? And he kind of dodged that question. It's very obvious they probably did. Trump gave him the boot. His tariffs are hurting Elon. He refuses to back down on all these spending things that are going to affect his bottom line, and you get Elon having a high schooler meltdown. So I mean, yeah, crazy situation, and of course both sides, the left and the right, are gonna be just, one's gonna be laughing, the other thing, one's gonna be defending, one side's gonna be defending, the other side's gonna be laughing. I think if anything, it proves what we already knew, that Elon was not cut out for the job of being in this international world. You know, he's an entrepreneur, tech billionaire dude. He was not going to save the world or do all these things. And yeah, it's a fucking crazy turn of events. And God, what the fallout of this is going to be really crazy, and really ends that era of Trump buddy buddy with Elon, unless the two can fucking go on a camp retreat and take magic mushrooms and fucking sort their problems out. Which there's been all these talks of Elon with the ketamine and the drug use and the ecstasy. Elon, that Trump wouldn't agree with that lifestyle. Trump doesn't like playing video games, okay? And Elon's always playing video games and talking about ketamine and stuff. So that is, this is the, tech bro and his, uncle at the dinner table, going at it. They're two people who pretended to like each other for a long time because they both share some common ground. But ultimately, at the end of the day, these are two personalities that really butt heads with one another, and that's what we saw. So, I mean, that's my analysis on it. Yeah, the drug thing and the family drama, that those all go against Trump's core values, and he was never going to just sit back and say, "Oh, it's just Elon, that's just what he does." Trump has a plan, and that plan is going to be executed whether or not his side, Elon and the tech broscape, agree with it or not. Trump is going towards something grander than just let's give every American $5,000 because we're the good guys type thing. This is Trump's plan in action. This is something that is in a completely for Elon's sphere, a train wreck. But for Trump's side, this is still just we're kicking the tech bros out, and this is not going to help or not going to hurt his base in many ways. It shows sides of a ruthless Trump who can turn on his friends, and this shows more strength on the world stage than you would wonder, because China, Russia, Iran, all these countries are looking at saying Trump will turn on us, and he may pretend to be our friends, but he'll come at us when it suits him. So I mean, I don't know. That's just my thoughts, and that's kind of how it seems to me.